Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my reaction videos. So today we're going to be reacting to the new episode of Death Battle which just came out, which is Venom vs. Crona. Now, if you guys saw my Death Battle prediction that came out like 2 weeks ago, then you'll know that I wasn't too excited for this battle. I wasn't too happy with the idea in general, and honestly, my opinions haven't really changed too much. I understand that a lot of you guys are excited for this battle, or were excited, assuming you've already seen it. And you know, these characters are both very awesome. I'll definitely say that. It's just the fight itself I don't really love. I talked about how I thought that Crona, and honestly Venom as well, had way better opponents than each other. So there's that. But there's also the whole thing about, you know, as I said in my prediction, this really comes down to, like, the question of, you know, can Crona, you know, like, force off the symbiote, you know, and can Crona keep up with Venom physically? Because if Crona can't do both of those things, then, you know, then Crona can't really win against Venom. Sorry for the lighting change, by the way. So it's really just like an either-or kind of thing, you know, it's very, like, conditional on just a couple things, and I don't really love fights like that, where it's, like, very conditional on just a couple things. And then there's, to make matters worse, you know, there's also the whole thing, like, what are they gonna give Venom? Are they gonna, like, give Venom, like, the more recent buffs that he got, which make him, like, basically invincible? You know, personally, I'm not sure if they should do that, because it feels kind of temporary. I think he's had them for a little while, but, you know, that's not what most people think of when they think of Venom, you know what I mean? So I don't think that that thing is going to be extremely permanent. And I know that Death Battle doesn't, like, if Death Battle, you know, puts that in, they run the risk of having that be outdated, you know what I mean, very soon. So, I don't know. I personally don't think they should use it, but I would understand if they did. But, you know, but then there's all, again, like, that's just another either-or question. So it's like, if they give that to Venom, then he'll most likely win. If they don't give that to Venom, then it's going to be, again, like, another either-or thing. So, yeah, symbiotes are kind of weird. I don't really think they're really built for versus debates like this, because they have very specific weaknesses. So, you know, and like, you can really only kill them or defeat them by exploiting one of those weaknesses, basically, unless you're, like, stupid powerful. So, I don't know. In my prediction, I went for Crona, but I totally understand and recognize that, you know, it could just end up going to Venom because, you know, they find, like, some ridiculous feat that he has, or if they give him the buffs. I totally understand. But yeah, you know, I'm sure this fight is still going to be enjoyable. You know, I wasn't really looking forward to it, but, you know, it's still a death battle, so of course I'm still going to watch it, and I'm going to try my best to enjoy it. Hopefully it still ends up being cool. So yeah, that's it for me. Let's get on with the episode. Let me just pause and replay when we get there. Okay, I think we're good.
It's always nice to have a best friend attached to your hip, like me and my shotgun leg.
But these two take their friends even further than that.
Venom,
Yep.
the lethal symbiote, and Spiderman.
I totally understand the connections between the two.
Crona, the deadly demon sword
I just think that they have better
from
opponents.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
Especially
And
Crona.
it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. At the beginning of time, in the faraway reaches of space, the Clintar rose from a living
Yep,
darkness.
of course you gotta talk about the
One of these
Clintar.
symbiotes was Venom.
Who was a freaking loser? Hey, don't look at me.
Yeah?
All the goop aliens were saying it. So they kicked
He's
the
like a
poor
runt on his
slime ball
planet.
straight off the planet.
In its exile,
Yeah.
the symbiote underwent a number of misadventures which firmly shaped its personality.
Right.
It bonded to a heroic Kree soldier rescuing refugees, a violent monster who committed genocide.
I knew
and
about that one. I didn't know about the hero.
apparently Deadpool.
Damn.
Yep.
No wonder Venom's so messed up in the head.
Eventually, the symbiote was discovered by Peter Parker, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hell yeah.
They gave him a pretty
I'm wearing a
slick
Spider-Man
black
shirt,
suit
by the
and
way.
awesome
I
new
didn't even
powers.
realize I was
After
watching
finding
this
out it
when
was
I put it
a confused,
on.
raging psychopathic alien, Pete decided to exercise it with the power of Christian Rock.
A wise decision, although ill-timed.
Yeah.
This event would cause the symbiote to finally meet its greatest partner, Edward Brock.
Eddie was a journalist.
So they are
with the
using Eddie again. Makes
unluckiest
sense.
backstory ever, while trying to uncover the
And it's cool
identity
because
of a
last time they
serial
talked about
killer.
Eddie
He
first
blamed
and
wrong
then
guy.
the Clintar.
same day he
So it's cool how they're
published his
switching it up this
article,
time.
Spidey caught the real killer, who lived right next door to the dude Eddie blamed.
Yeah.
Long story short, Eddie was fired from his job, divorced by his
A lot
wife,
of this I already
and
know just
disowned
because,
by
you know,
his
I know
father.
Venom and I
Who
watched the
already
other Death
blamed
Battle.
Eddie for his wife dying in childbirth.
On top of all of that, Eddie learned he developed adrenal cancer, with only a few months left to live.
Yep.
Man, And I thought 2020 was rough. I almost don't blame him for becoming a
Yeah.
supervillain.
No, this
All
guy,
hope
a
lost,
bad
begged
week.
God
Jeez.
to take it all away and got an answer. The symbiote.
Just like Captain Planet with their powers combined, these two losers became a super loser.
Yeah.
Well, no, they actually became a horrifying
Yeah.
monster with all of Spider-Man's powers and then some.
Their mutual
But yeah,
hatred of
he's
Spider-Man
he's
caused the
extremely
symbiote to bond
powerful.
Eddie like no host ever before. They were perfect, a terror in the night, an unstoppable demon. They were Venom.
It even cured Eddie's cancer.
Sort of. It's complicated.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like it's a
Spider-Man's
permanent
webbing and
fix,
web-crawling
but
powers,
yeah,
Venom can use
it holds it
shape-shifting
off.
to mold his body into cool doodads. Swords, shields, tendrils, worm monster things, even wings. Yeah, imagine
Yeah,
seeing
Carnage can
this
do that
guy
too.
flying outside your window at night. Well,
Oh yeah, of
good
course, I
luck
see that
seeing
every
him
night.
again.
Venom can camouflage his entire body, heal severe wounds like impalement and lost limbs, see
Yeah.
all around him at once, and psychically project emotions onto others.
Normally, this just makes people feel sorry for themselves, like Wiz on Tinder. But one time he convinced a bunch of other symbiotes that life was meaningless and they killed themselves. Shit, that's
Really?
dark.
If desperate, the symbiote can even
Did it need like some
invade
sort of
the bodies
amplification,
others and
or?
make them burst from inside out.
Gross.
Oh,
He's
boy.
awesome. But if he doesn't want to
I mean, I
pop
guess that
them
makes
like a fun
sense.
balloon, he can just take over their body like a creepy puppet master.
While attached to a victim, Venom
Wow.
can control them by fusing the symbiote to their nervous system, specifically the brainstem and frontal lobes. Fighting off this mind control is extremely difficult unless you have powers that can directly counter it, such as another symbiote.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Aliens, tentacles, and mind control. Are we
I wonder
this
if Ragnarok
episode is rated
counts.
For everyone, or do we need to start blurring stuff?
Don't worry, aside from being a horrible mass murderer,
That'll be
Venom's
interesting.
stories are completely wholesome.
Right.
Venom proved
Yeah,
a dangerous thorn in
absolutely.
Spider-Man's side and frequently ruined his life. Even taking a page out of my favorite book, The Most Dangerous Game, and hunting him on a private island.
Yeah,
Oh.
he was the coolest rival ever. But over the years, things kind of calmed down a bit. They even teamed up every so often.
Yep.
See, even with so much anger, Eddie had a legitimate desire to protect others. As a teenager stealing his dad's car, he accidentally ran over and killed a child. Despite his desire to confess, his father forced him to plead innocent and rigged the jury. The guilt has
Oh.
weighed him down ever since. So while Venom does
Wow.
have a hunger for human brains, he'd rather eat the face off a criminal than an innocent person.
Venom's as tough
Yeah.
as they come. He's survived Ghost Rider's penance stare. He's strong enough to toss
Yeah,
a tank
somehow.
hundreds of feet up, and fast enough to take down Spidey 2099, who once caught Mjolnir while it was moving 2,000 times the speed of sound. Although Venom does not possess the spider sense that
How?
allows Parker to react in microseconds, he can still keep up with all the usual Spidey gallery. Plus, while
Yeah.
symbiotes have a severe
Although he does
weakness to
negate the spider
hypersound
sense.
and heat, he's developed resistances to them.
Like when he took
Right.
that giant explosion, or when he survived a sonic scream from some mutant gremlins that shattered all glass within 10 miles.
While he may be
10
tougher
miles.
to take down than most other symbiotes, Venom never fully overcame his weaknesses. However, his symbiotic genes provide far more help than harm. This includes traits and memories from other hosts like Scorpion and Flash Thompson.
Wait.
Right.
Bullets are a genetic trait? How do I pass that down?
Venom would
Yeah, that's
certainly
weird.
need a lot of firepower to survive an encounter with the symbiote god.
Oh, geez, here we go.
At first, the Clintar symbiotes were seen as a peaceful people. But turns out they were actually living weapons forged by the primordial deity Null in an attempt to
Yep.
conquer the universe.
And I bet next up, Marvel decides they're magic maple syrup people from Asgardian IHOP. But okay, cosmic sludge made by alien Satan. Let's go with that.
Despite it all, Eddie and the symbiote have proven they're far more than the dark legacy the Clintar were intended for. They've even
Of
gained
course.
the respect of the Avengers and eventually considered Spider-Man a friend. Sort of. It's complicated.
Yeah,
Eddie
that's
really is the best pal
that's
Venom
pretty
ever
rough.
found. And let's be real, he just looks freaking badass.
Yeah. So they talked about Null, but they didn't actually talk about the buffs themselves. I don't know if they're giving
In
that to
ancient
him.
times, a demonic being known as the Kishi
Let's just
ravaged
listen to
humanity,
Crona and then we'll
nearly
talk about that
driving
later.
all mankind into the depths of madness. This monster could only be defeated and sealed away by the god of death.
So, why is the literal
I know
god
less
of
about
death
Crona.
so goofy looking? You ever seen Death Note?
Fair enough,
Man,
yeah.
His girlfriend is scarier than this clown.
If you are unfamiliar with the world of Soul Eater, prepare yourself. It's different.
Well, I know
not
that
wanting a
much.
return
Yeah,
of
I
the
know it's
apocalypse,
different.
Death and his oven mitts founded a school, Death Academy.
Here, warriors called Meisters would train to fight evil
Yep,
using the power
there's Maka.
of their souls.
They even got neat demon weapons that doubled as people. Together, they learned courage, chivalry, unbreakable friendship. You know, all that anime crap.
Yes, of course.
Crona Gorgon was not one of these students.
Buckle up, it's all Gloomsville from here. Deal.
Yeah,
I don't think I know how to deal with this situation.
I
Throughout their
don't. Yep.
childhood, Crona was abused
They said
by
it.
their mother, Medusa, a witch obsessed with the legendary Kishi.
You can see where this is going.
Yeah,
Anime
they, them
Uma
pronouns,
Thurman
exactly.
Was such a fangirl, she figured, hey, why don't I make my own Kishin? So she used her child as a guinea pig in a bunch of crazy experiments. You know, it kind of sounds like something you do, Wiz.
Don't be silly, I only use actual guinea pigs. Part of Medusa's great
Why do I feel like
experiment
that's not
included
necessarily
bonding Crona
true?
to a weapon, much like the Meisters of Death Academy. However, joining with Ragnarok was
Yep.
a bit more literal.
Ragnarok
Yeah,
used to be
yeah.
a run-of-the-mill transforming weapon person until Medusa melted him alive in black blood.
Black blood being another
Very
experiment of
durable.
hers. Crona's own blood is, in fact, this same black blood, which they can remotely control. It can be used to heal wounds and even harden as a sort of internal armor.
What kind of wounds?
Rags
How
and black
severe?
blood turned him into a brand new weapon that was literally poured into Crona's bloodstream.
From that
Yep.
point on, Crona and
Which is, I
Ragnarok
think,
were
why a
two
lot of people
halves
wanted
the
to
same
see,
person. The meek
Crona
and
fight
tortured
Carnage.
child firmly attached to their loud and brazen weapon.
And Raggy has that black
But I think,
blood
like, character
control,
arc wise,
too.
Crona
They can
actually
yank
does have
poor
more
Crona
similarities
around
with
like
Venom.
A puppet. They can use black blood to create wings, thorny vines, all kinds of weapons, and big ass needles. Ugh, I hate needles. What's up with that mouth when he transforms into a sword? That thing's messed up.
Like the Meisters, Crona can wield their own soul in
Oh my
Maka,
God.
amplified by Ragnarok as a technique called Scream Resonance.
Wiz,
Think
what
of
are
it
you gonna
like
do?
an electric guitar up to an amp, though more akin to a screeching banshee.
Oh, we're gonna get an ad. Hang on, let me just pause and play when we get over this.
Like the Meisters,
Okay, we're
Crona
gonna go
can
from
wield
here.
Their own soul in combat, amplified by Ragnarok as a technique called Scream Resonance. Think of it like hooking an electric guitar up to an amp.
But no matter what they
though
say, I don't
more
know if
akin
it's
to a
gonna be
screeching
good
banshee
enough
on LSD.
to take down Venom, you know?
I don't. It's incredibly powerful, causing internal damage to foes and making Ragnarok vibrate to increase his cutting power. Hey,
I see.
Are you okay?
What?
So it's
With
almost like
this
sound
weapon at their
strikes.
side, Crona set out on a quest to become a Kishi, which required quite a lot of homicide.
Yeah, Ragnarok
Okay,
can
yeah.
absorb the souls of dead people, and supposedly enough souls will turn Crona into the Kishin. So they went around slaughtering hundreds of people.
Despite their name, Death Academy wasn't exactly a fan, particularly their star student, Maka Albarn.
Don't worry,
Right.
she and Crona ended up becoming good friends. Until they weren't. Sort of. It's complicated.
As a
Everything's
pawn in Medusa's
complicated in
mission,
this
Crona gained
episode.
several levels of new potential. Notably, after gaining or absorbing the powers of the monstrous Black Clown, the Demon Tool Brew, and even Ashura, the original Kishi.
Are they
All of
including
which
this?
increased Crona's abilities, especially the black blood. Now Crona could turn their entire body into goop, and the slightest touch could inflict madness. That's madness with a capital M, by the way.
Yep.
This madness is a corruptive effect that causes targeted variants of delusion or obsession, often spread as a wavelength. The wavelength of Crona's mad blood specifically causes violent psychosis.
Crona may be a pawn, but they're a badass. They can cut through a whole ghost ship, cover the moon with sound waves, open the moon's
Right.
mouth? What the hell is wrong with that moon?
Crona and Ragnarok have held their own against multiple Death
I
Academy
know.
students, including Maka, Death the Kid, and Black Star.
Sometimes all at once.
Kid once flew from Nevada to Egypt in less than a minute, and Black Star is even faster. He's dodged lasers and been tracked moving over 20 kilometers in 6 microseconds while approaching
Whoa.
Baba Yaga Castle.
And Crona's been able to make enough mad blood to crush a whole goddamn Ukrainian city.
While this city isn't
Right.
named, we can use a similar metropolitan area in Ukraine. Kiev, for instance. With this in mind, Crona must have created over 9 trillion tons of black blood, enough to fill
Trillion.
over 6 billion Olympic swimming pools.
Trillion
But
tons.
Crona's a big leap from Invincible.
9 of them.
They've had their shit kicked in plenty of times, and their hardened black blood can only block so much.
Even then, Medusa's plan ultimately succeeded. After years of scheming, Crona absorbed the power of Ashura and became a Kishi.
Well, more like Kishin absorbed Crona, but close enough.
But
Okay.
with the power of friendship, Crona ironically wound up defeating the Kishin once and for all. Despite their life being nothing but destruction, Crona was the one who ultimately saved the world.
With an added
Wow.
side effect of a new madness wavelength that made everyone obsessed with boobs. Truly a positive effect on
Is
people
that-
everywhere.
Just give up.
Is that
I'm
real?
tired of trying to figure out how to
I did
deal
not know
with
about that, if that's real. Okay, now,
All right, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
All right, let's get ready to pause. Okay, we paused. Okay, so how much time we got left on this video? We got like 6 minutes left. Okay, hopefully we'll get a good length fight. So yeah, here's the thing. I didn't catch. I don't know if I'm stupid, like if I missed it, or if they just didn't mention it. But they talked about Null, but they didn't actually talk about, you know, how powerful Venom was, like, after he got, like, did he get, like, the buffs from Null specifically? It's something in relation to that. And, you know, if it's the kind of thing where they just reveal it after, you know, after the fight, I'll be pretty pissed, because that's, like, you know, that's a really big thing, you know, that's a really big part of this fight, like, a really big part of the either-or kind of thing I was talking about at the beginning. So, I don't really know whether or not they're going to include that. If we're just looking at, you know, again, strength and speed, like I said in my prediction, based on what they said here, and based on what I read and everything like that, it seems like Crona has the advantage. It seems that she's able to react, or not she, sorry, they. Sorry, for some reason, I'm just going to say this right now. I initially thought that Crona was a girl, so apologies if I accidentally say, like, a she pronoun. No, but it's they. So, you know, I feel like Crona has, like, I feel like Crona's reacted to faster characters more often. Like, sure, Spider-Man has dodged light speed lasers and stuff like that, but those are more on rare occasions, and, you know, that's like the really high end of his speed. And plus, you know, Venom negates the spider sense, so naturally Spider-Man's not going to be at his best when fighting Venom, at least in terms of speed. So that's something I think that's important. I'm not sure if Death Battle is going to go too far into that, but it seems like Crona in general has reacted to faster characters. Maybe. And then there was the whole thing about, you know, yeah, Venom lifted 200 tons, you know, with the Ferris wheel while in a weakened state. But then I saw that they listed for Crona that they, like, lifted, like, the moon's 10,000 ton jaw or something like that. I know that doesn't directly relate to striking power, but still, that means the black blood can withstand a lot of, you know, weight and likely a lot of force as well. I don't know if it would be able to withstand all the force that Venom could dish out, though. They didn't give a lot of numbers for this fight. So even though I still firmly believe that this is really just an either-or kind of thing, you know, in one sense, whether or not they give Venom the buffs, and also whether or not Crona can keep up with Venom physically and take out the symbiote in one way or another, I feel like they almost didn't give me enough to go off of, like, enough to actually figure that out on purpose, which, again, I don't really love too much. It might have made the answer obvious, but, again, that just makes me think, you know, going into this fight, I kind of just have to wait and figure out what they say, you know? So, again, based on what I saw, in terms of strength and speed, it seems like Crona would have the edge. But I have a feeling that they're going to give it to Venom. Something tells me that they're going to give it to Venom. The fact that he withstood the penance stare might directly relate to how, you know, the madness works. But from my understanding, the madness kind of, like, interrupts the bond between the Meister and the weapon. So I thought that maybe that could relate to Venom because, you know, again, that's like it interrupts the symbiosis, which is what Venom has as well, you know, symbiosis. But I have a feeling they're just going to say, oh no, you know, he withstood the penance stare, so the madness wouldn't work. But then there's the whole thing about, you know, the sound that Venom withstood was able to cover many miles, but Crona's sound was able to, you know, encompass the moon or something like that. It did something like on a moon scale. So I don't know if they're just going to say, you know, oh yeah, but so that means it can definitely force the symbiote off. But then are they just going to say, but the symbiote can possess Crona, and then that's it? You know, that's it. Because I don't know if Crona actually has a way of killing the symbiote, you know, Crona might have a way of forcing it off, but I don't know if they have a way of actually, you know, killing the symbiote. They may just have a way of killing Eddie. But then, like, would you also have to kill Ragnarok in order for it to be a win for Venom? It's hard. They both seem to have a lot of versatility, but it seems like Venom has more in terms of, like, the really OP stuff. Like, again, with the whole thing about, you know, he influenced emotions or feelings or whatever to make other members of the Clintar kill themselves. But that's not normal, though. I don't know what they mean when they say not normal. Is it just like he did it out of sheer willpower, or did he have to get some sort of enhancement in order to do that? Based on everything that I saw in this video, I'd want to say that Crona has what it takes to win. But I have a feeling they may either be holding back information, or they're just going to say that Venom has too many resistances, and that means he wins. So I don't know. I'm not going to go for like a really concrete, this is my prediction. Again, my prediction in my video was still Crona, so that's what I go off of. Yeah, you know, I think I'm just gonna enjoy this fight. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, there's fire. Crona, use that. No, I'm joking.
Hello? I want to be alone.
I love the voice acting already. I was about to say, that looks like Eddie.
Two brains for the price of one.
Does Ragnarok have a brain? I wonder.
I don't think I can handle this right now.
Exactly. Ouch! Wow. Really did some damage there. Is this gonna feel like Carnage vs. Lucy again, where Crona keeps doing damage, but Venom just keeps healing?
Your mind is ours.
You know, that stuff can hold back Spiderman. Well, he seems to be standing up to it fine right now. Ooh. But yeah, again, like, it sounds strike. That could definitely hurt. Oh!
He's gone?
Invisible.
What is he?
Not gone.
The ones hiding under your bed, teeth ground sharp and eyes glowing.
Last time he was acting a lot more like Carnage. This time he seems to be acting more like Venom. I mean, in Venom vs. Bane, he was acting like Carnage. No! Don't get dizzy. Ducks, go away. Or chicks or whatever. Oh. Oh yeah, it's the black blood, though.
Your blood.
I know. It's black.
I know, it's black. And there's the moon. Oh, wow.
Wake up, stupid!
The Soul Eater is so weird, but it's so cool. Of course, there's the wings. Ow, 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 oh, oh, oh! How good is that black blood, though, against his strikes? Oh, boy. Actually revealed part of it.
We are the darkness.
But we haven't gotten to some of Venom's more obscure abilities yet.
We are Venom.
I hate you.
Oh! Is it enough? I'm not convinced. Oh no, that's it!
Man, these
So
symbiotes
Crona
really
won.
need to stop picking fights with pink-haired anime characters.
Wow.
They're f***ing crazy.
Venom was
Yeah.
certainly a tricky opponent. His shape-shifting camouflage and multitude of weapons kept Crona on guard. Unfortunately, Venom lacked the power needed to keep up a prolonged fight.
Yeah,
Right.
Crona matching Black Star's speed makes for a pretty clear difference. Crona could reach Mach 9,000, while Venom only topped out around Mach 2,000.
And while Venom has shown incredible physical
I'll talk
strength
about that
with
later.
Spiderman to shame, he could never compete with 9 trillion tons of mad blood.
Yeah.
By the way, that precise control of the black blood totally meant Crona could push out any of Venom's attempt at being a puppeteer.
And Crona's shown even greater feats of strength as well. Assuming all of the Moon's teeth are similar in size and stone, opening this jaw is equivalent to lifting over 10,000
I read that on the
tons.
sidebar,
Of
yes.
course, the final nail in Eddie's coffin was the fact that half of Crona's arsenal was sound-based, basically Venom's kryptonite.
Somewhat. Recall that Venom did gain a notable resistance to sound attacks.
Yes.
So we needed to determine if Crona's sonic waves were great enough to effectively harm him.
You know those
Right.
gremlins who shattered every window in 10 miles with a screech attack? The symbiote barely survived it, so that's a good high end to look at.
It takes at least 100 decibels to shatter.
I knew they
glass.
were gonna go into
To
this.
cover that much distance, the combined sonic blast must have equaled about 244 decibels.
I see.
In contrast, in order to engulf the moon, Crona's sonic waves must have reached over 275 decibels.
And yes, that's considering the weird size and shape of the moon.
Okay.
Just look at that freaking thing.
And again,
Sure,
decibels
275 doesn't
are a
seem that
huge
much more than
difference.
244, but decibels increase on a logarithmic rate.
Yep.
This means Crona's sound attack was actually over 1,000 times stronger.
Exactly.
Eddie for sure wasn't surviving that.
Eddie and the symbiote held their own with versatility, but Crona and Ragnarok had them beat in destructive power, blistering speed, and an arsenal that could take advantage of Venom's key weakness.
Looks like Venom
Yep.
just got Ragnaroked.
The winner is Crona.
Nice.
Thanks for watching this episode.
There
of
are a
Death
couple
Battle.
things I want
Come
to
back
talk
next week
about,
to see previews of our
but
upcoming matchups. If you want to watch more
let's
stuff,
see who's next
click the
first.
boxes right around here, and you can always pick up some TV merch at store.roosterteeth.com.
Next time.
This is the red team. We are here.
Oh, is that red versus blue?
I got a tank. People with tanks are never
Hang
outnumbered.
on, let me get rid of this. Red versus... Wait, really? Red versus blue. Who would really win? So they're doing... So it's red versus blue. That's the episode? Huh. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Red versus blue. Are they actually going to have a winner, though, I wonder? Because, yeah, they're talking like who would really win. But... See, the thing is, red versus blue is another Rooster Teeth property. I don't know if they'd want to have that, you know, if they want to make it so that, you know, one team is definitively better than the other, you know, while the show is still ongoing. It's still ongoing, right? So I don't know if they'd actually want to do that. You know, the way they're advertising it makes it sound like there's going to be a real winner, but I wonder whether or not there actually is going to be one. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I'll see if I can make a prediction about that one, but it will probably take longer to get out than normal. Although then again, based on copyright, you know, that I deal with reaction videos, this is probably going to come out later than a prediction for red versus blue, literally no matter how long it takes. So yeah. But okay, so yeah, I'll look more into that one later. That one's going to be interesting. I assume that one's going to be more of a humorous one. Because red versus blue is... I don't know that much about it in general, but, like, I know... I get the gist, and the gist is pretty funny. Anyway, talking about this one, not gonna lie, I was surprised that Crona won. Based on what they said in the analyses, it made it sound like Crona was gonna win, but I thought they were gonna pull something about it. I saw in the... I'm not able to read, like, the whole stuff about, like, in the, what is it, like, the little boxes as the video plays. You know, they talked about something about Ghost Rider's penance there in one of those boxes, but I wasn't able to read all of it. So, you know, I'll have to go back and read that stuff again, because I'm sure they have explanations for all of that stuff. But yeah, I was actually really surprised, because I thought they were going to say something like, well, yeah, he wouldn't be affected by the madness. And maybe he wouldn't actually be affected by the madness. They didn't really talk about that at all in the video. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. How everything turned out. The animation was pretty nice. I do want to talk about the speed, though, because I think that capping Venom at, you know, at that speed is a little low. It's definitely better than what they did for Carnage. And I will say that, you know, being able to keep up with Spider-Man in combat does not automatically give you light speed reactions, because Spider-Man does not travel at that speed for the vast majority of the time. Even when he's fighting, he just doesn't travel at that speed all the time. I would like to think, though, that Venom is a little higher than what they put him at. But, you know, overall, I can still understand, you know, both of them honestly did react, or they could scale the characters that reacted to light speed things. So I could still honestly roll with it, even if I don't fully agree that, you know, these two would cap out at where they said they would cap. So that's me there. But the whole strength thing absolutely made sense to me. The whole audio thing, like the whole sound thing, 100% made sense to me. And I was putting it together, like covering the moon should be more than just covering, you know, 10 miles or whatever it was. And of course, yeah, like decibels, logarithmic, 1,000 times greater, because it was, what is it? It was 30 decibels more, right? So yeah, it would be 1,000 times greater, because it's 10 times 10 times 10. So yeah, that's pretty awesome how they went into that. So it looks like they didn't give Venom the buffs. Someone let me know down in the comments below whether or not they did, because that kind of blipped over me. If they didn't give him the buffs, I fully agree with that, because again, I think that's just the less consistent or the less accurate version of his character. And again, if they were to give him the buffs, that runs the risk of, you know, this video being outdated very, very quickly. If they did give him the buffs, though, then, you know, that's their choice. But, you know, Crona still won. So, you know, I can definitely understand where they're coming from. And yeah, I went for Crona. I'm happy I was right. And as of right now, yeah, it all makes perfect sense to me. So yeah, even though I like Venom more, I'm happy that I'm right. And Crona is a really awesome character as well. You know, Crona and Ragnarok, they're both really cool. So yeah, as of right now, I can totally get behind this. This was actually funnier of an episode than I expected, and the analyses were still informative. I was able to pick different pieces from it. And again, yeah, even I said that, you know, based on what I saw, it sounded like Crona was going to win. I just thought they were going to pull something with Venom, because you never know what these guys are going to pull in their post-analyses. So I'm happy I was able to pick up on pieces of it, even if I wasn't fully confident in my answer. So there's that. There is still the whole thing that bugs me about this fight, that this is still very much, you know, because if Crona could not, you know, get past the sound, then I'm almost certain they would have gone with Venom, you know what I mean? So that was really like the either-or question. Like, if Crona can do this, then Crona will win. If Crona can't do this, then Crona will lose. So, you know, there's still that aspect about the fight that I don't really like, but in general, I enjoyed this one more than I thought I would. So that's pretty cool, actually. I'm pretty satisfied with this video. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Who do you think should have won? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a huge like. I always appreciate your likes. I'll leave the comments down in the comments below. Subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.